Okay, naturally at some point in your tiling job you're going to have to cut some tiles, and you've got two choices of the type of tile cutter that you can use. Effectively you have a manual cutter and you have a wet cutter. Now just to explain the difference, this is a manual cutter, and a manual cutter is simply a case of a scoring wheel that is on a rail, and once you've scored the tile you use a snapping action to actually snap the tile in half. This would be used for ceramics and porcelain tiles, but potentially porcelain tiles that are of a thinner variety. When it comes to your wet cutter, this would be used for cutting things like natural stone, porcelain of the thicker variety, and ideally, because of the potential mess that you can make whilst using a wet cutter, we want to use it outside, but for our demonstration purposes we're going to be using it inside. To identify where the cut is needed on the tile, simply place a tile in the space you wish to tile, so that it hangs over the surrounding tile already fixed in place. Then simply turn over the tile and mark on the back of the tile the line you will need to cut down. Remember to take into account the grout joint you will need. So before we cut the tile we need to make sure that we've got our safety wear on. So I've got my gloves, going to make sure we put the goggles on before we cut the tile, and now we're ready to go. When using a manual tile cutter, simply place the tile onto the cutting bed. Line up your two marks on the tile in line with the cutting bed. Once you're happy with this position, use the scribing wheel to score along the tile. Once you're at the top of the cutter, simply use the small snapping arm to place over the top of the tile and apply gentle pressure to the arm. This will then snap the tile cleanly. To identify where the cut is needed on the tile, simply place a tile in the space you wish to tile. Then simply turn over the tile and mark on the top of the tile the line you will need to cut down. Keep the electric cutter switched off at all times until you are ready to cut the tile. Place the tile into the cutter, but take into account the width of the blade. When you are ready to cut, switch the cutter on and gently push the tile into the blade along the line to be cut. A wet cutter can also be used for curved lines. As you can see, this will give you a nice clean cut.